Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, Jedi and Sith. I am the Grand Admiral of the Free-to-Play Fleet here at the Galactic Empire, where we've never spent a dime and our farms are never completed on time. Today, I'll be giving an explanation of what Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is and giving you my honest review of the game. Because you see, Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is a strategy RPG and turn-based combat mobile game made by EA Capital Games. In it, you collect characters to form teams. The best teams have synergies with the corresponding characters within. These are called tags or factions, and these often form teams that you then will be using throughout the rest of the game. The goal is to collect and create the best characters and squads within the game. Oftentimes, certain characters will be required to unlock the next character in line. The gameplay generally consists of two teams of 5 facing off, with very few exceptions, such as 3v3 Grand Arena. The combat occurs through turns determined by turn meter. Think of turn meter as you need 100% of it to be able to take a turn. The speed stat decides how quickly a character gains turn meter, or how quickly someone will get to 100%, meaning the faster the speed, the more turns a character takes. Controlling the enemy's turn meter and harnessing your own often determines the battle. The best example of commanding the situation are the Imperial Trooper team and Empire teams. They have everything you need: removing turn meter, gaining more turn meter, slowing the enemy down, and gaining more speed. They accomplish this through the abilities that they have. In the game, I'd classify every ability into 4 classes. First are the basics, which are always available for use. The basic usually pairs well with the other ability classes. Generally, they are simple and rarely attack more than one enemy. Second, we have special abilities. These have a cooldown that takes a certain amount of turns before being unleashed upon the enemy again. So, after you use it, you might have to wait 3 turns before you get to use Emperor Palpatine's ultimate. As you can see here, he's got 13 turns before he can use his big old shock again. And so that is a cooldown. You have to wait a certain amount of time before getting to use that special ability again. Now, these often lead nicely into other specials and have complex clauses that'll attack multiple enemies and often get the ball rolling. At the start of the battle, one normally will use these special abilities to get the ball rolling and set up for other basics and other abilities. These often benefit basics and can tie into their third group, which are the uniques. Most characters have a unique, although there are some that don't, such as Hera Syndulla. Unique abilities are always passive, granting bonus stats in causing events such as counterattacks or attacks out of turn. They also can highlight synergies between characters and within factions, such as like the Imperial Troopers. There's certain unique abilities that give bonuses depending on how many Imperial Trooper allies there are. And sometimes they can hinder enemies, specifically targeting certain factions, such as Darth Vader will target rebels. If there are rebel enemies, he gets extra speed. These often will tie into all the uniques and basics and help determine how you're going to use them. And finally, we have our fourth group, which is leadership abilities. In a team, there can only be one leader at a time. Placing a character in that first slot, such as where Shaak Ti is right now, is the leadership slot, and their leadership ability will be active throughout the entire battle, even if they are defeated. This differs from unique abilities because if a unit is defeated, their unique ability goes away. This leadership will often highlight and synergize factions, again, such as Imperial Troopers. They'll give bonus speed based off the leadership. For Shakti, she gives bonuses for Clone Troopers, and then some for just regular Galactic Republic Jedi. This leadership also will benefit the allies passively and sometimes even actively healing them, and in some instances it can also hinder enemies, such as Admiral Piet gives light side enemies negative 30 speed, and as such, this leadership determines the playstyle of the team by focusing on specific tactics or abilities. Now, the graphics, you might be sitting here going, alright, well, that's awesome. What about the graphics? Well, it's an older game. It was released in 2015, but the art is slowly improving. Newer character models look more realistic, such as the entirety of the Bad Batch, Boba Fett's Scion of Django, and so many more. Also, some are getting newer reworks like Count Dooku and Mace Windu, and their character models are looking better. Occasionally there is some lag, such as when Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker uses a big old AoE to attack all the enemies. Sometimes the game lags because of the damage and the animation. But overall, the graphics are pretty improving and they're pretty cool. The sounds within the game are full of Star Wars properties because, well, it is a Star Wars mobile game. You have lightsaber slashes, blasters firing, droids beeping at you, and Star Wars selection noises. Just go ahead and imagine any scientific noise in the Star Wars universe, and there you go, you've got it. This helps bring you into this idea of the holotable cantina, where you're in this Star Wars environment. You're surrounded by Star Wars. The music comes from many Star Wars properties, older games, and the music that plays as the screen wipes. So, like when it wipes to Old Ben's little hut in New Hope, it plays that theme every now and then, and themes such as Episode 3's Starfighter Battle, and so many more. Events such as Emperor Palpatine's legendary events have the music of the characters. You get the Emperor's throne room in there. If I remember correctly, in Grand Admiral Thrawn's event, you also get Grand Admiral Thrawn's theme when he appears. Some unique sounds that I think are awesome are Emperor Palpatine's cackle, Vader's no when he's defeated, the constant breathing of Darth Vader while in the battle, Grogu's giggling, and the Mandalorian's whistling birds, and on the screen right now, Darth Revan's lightsaber attack. These sounds just have a different presence and just really stand out as they're kind of unique, and it makes playing the game off silent or with the audio on pretty fun. The only problem is because it's full of Star Wars properties, the songs are copyrighted, so it makes it kind of difficult to have the songs in while you are if you're streaming or making a video. These sounds just add such a difference from the stock death sounds, lightsaber strikes, etc. And the game for me, and in my opinion, is most fun when you've either unlocked a character, gotten a counter to work that is really tough, or when the strategy part of the game is focused. This all kind of culminates in probably the most popular game mode, which is Grand Arena, which is being played in the background right now. In GAC, short for Grand Arena Championships, you go head to head with an opponent, both of you placing multiple defensive teams and then strategizing what will work for offense. This means sometimes you're going to have to use some out of the box ideas, aren't going to just be able to overpower them, but have to try and think of a way around it. Being able to do that, using those counters when that finally works, that's so awesome. Like when I used Sith Eternal at the beginning up against the Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, that was huge. I was jumping up and down with joy because I didn't have to worry about Supreme Leader Kylo Ren anymore. And so that is kind of also ties in with the strategy portion, because you look at your opponent's roster, you see what they got, you try and plan accordingly, and that's fun. That's pretty fun when you're sitting there trying to figure out how to beat your enemy, and as such, that's got the strategy focused down to a T, and Being able to defeat your opponent gives you kind of like that feeling of superiority and excitement as you outplayed them. And since every opponent is different, every match will vary, keeping the game mode entertaining. It also plays into the competitive nature of us as human beings by driving players to improve their roster. Again, giving a feeling of accomplishment. You're working towards something that's going to better your roster and will then give you kind of that, again, sense of victory as you beat your opponent. Um, it also, the player base is great. It is one of the most friendly environments I've ever been a part of. Um, the whales who spend money are more than willing to help new players and free to play players. Free to play players are more than willing to help other players. The community is just very friendly and are a great community. And some of the best guilds will have a sense of community where players join together in group events. And so you're taking on challenges and sometimes fighting other guilds. And in doing so, players form bonds with their guild mates because they rely on each other. And this further adds to that familiar atmosphere of the player base. Because of its nature, it's a mobile game after all. Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes requires a lot of time to put in, so it is really easily to be replayable. I mean, it's very grindy, but because of that, you can play it every day. But there's only so much you can do before needing to either get more attempts in Squad Arena or just extra energy. There's only so much you can do at a time, and so it kind of stops you from sinking too much time into the game, and it just stops that time sink. If you do your dailies, joining guild events or the daily events, that'll take a lot of time, and you've got nothing else to do once you're done. Your time will not be continued to stock up, and you can still maintain growth. You can go a step further and try and even farm more competitively and go and always access the stores. You can spend a lot more time, but as long as you just do your dailies, you can still continue to improve your game and continue to improve as a player without sucking all your time away. And therefore, is Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes worth your time? Yes. The sense of community, accomplishment, and strategy make a decent game to play and is very fun. Now, is it worth your money? In my opinion, not really. The constantly changing meta often makes it hard to stay on top, and if you do so, you'll spend more and more money just keeping up. The randomness and high prices in some of the packs kind of make it a little iffy on purchasing them and are not recommended by many players. However, the crystal packs and the Hyperdrive bundle are some of the best packs in the game that give you the most return for investment. Purchasing crystals is probably one of the best things because you can control where the crystals go to, whether upgrading characters or speeding up character farming processes. And that's where the key lies. Is your time, how much are you willing to spend money to maybe spend less time? And so it's kind of that nice little balance, and you can definitely find that personally for yourself. In the end, I love Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. I think it's a very fun game, and it's a great game to play while being the king or queen of the porcelain throne or on your daily bus trips. As always, I am the Grand Admiral, and this has been a great video. I hope you enjoyed. As always, leave a comment if you have anything that you would like to suggest for me, if you'd like to see anything else. And as always, this has been the Grand Admiral and end transmission.